Watch this. That's me about to miss. But look at the monitor on the left. That is my brain. See that red line dipping? That's me signaling myself to miss before it happens. Wait, let me back up. Actually, cue the music. So my daughters love Naruto. I love Naruto. And the first time they saw me put this thing on, they said that I looked like a hidden leaf ninja. And honestly, when I wear it, I kind of feel like one. Because this isn't actually a costume piece, this is an EEG headband. And for the last several months, I have been secretly recording everything my brain does while I practice playing pool. Look, everyone says the mental game matters, but no one actually shows you what it looks like. After all, it is mental game, right? We can't exactly see it, right? Well, maybe we can. You see, I have spent months building my own software with the help of AI to read and understand the inner workings of my mind as I play. So today, I finally get to show you what I have learned, what I've been working on. It is really kind of crazy, and I'm gonna give you 5 actionable ways to get your brain in the right state of mind when it matters most. Y'all, I promise you, you have never seen pool like this. So this is the Muse S Athena headband. Y'all, this thing is stacked. There are 4 EEGs that read your brainwave activity in real time. It's not a clinical rig, so I'll be honest about its limits. It's the first consumer headband to combine that with F-near sensors, which tracks blood flow and oxygen in the front of your brain, basically telling you how hard your mind is working. For what I'm doing, watching patterns over many sessions is more than enough. Now, how I use this is I record data using a third-party app called Mind Monitor, and I take that data, the raw data, into my dashboard that I built. There's a lot that I could do with this, but really the data that I'm focusing on, at least right now, is brain waves, right? Delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. Those are the 5 brain waves that we process information with. Real quick disclaimer, you guys, I am not a neuroscientist or a medical professional of any kind. I have done some learning on this subject, but nothing formal, and certainly not enough to warrant trusting my opinion over a real expert. So I'm just a guy who loves these rabbit holes and experimenting with new ideas in pool and trying to find ways to present them to you. All right, back to it. Now, check this out. Here are 10 runouts from a practice session. My goal here was just to loosely think about cue ball, not really trying to do more than enjoy hitting balls and get in the zone a little bit. You'll even see me occasionally go for shots that I would really never play during a match. I'm just having fun. Now, those 5 colors moving up and down on that graph that you see on the left, those are real-time, synced to the footage brainwave bands. And I have trained this monitoring tool on over 40 clinical studies and research papers on brainwaves for accuracy. But for this video, we really just need to focus on 2 brainwaves, okay? The lowest and the highest frequency ranges, delta and gamma. Delta on my graph is colored red. This is the let it go signal. When delta is elevated, my brain is basically just letting things happen, right? It's associated with relaxation and less conscious processing. But gamma here in orange is the opposite. It is when I am working on a problem. It is high frequency processing. This is when I'm reading an angle or grinding through a tough spot in the rack. Now there's also theta, alpha, and beta. They are important, they matter, and you'll notice some patterns in how they move with the other 2, but don't get attached to them for this video, okay? There's only one thing you really need to know about this whole thing. You don't need to memorize any of this. Knowing what the brain waves do is not going to help you pocket more balls. It is the pattern between these lines that tells a story, because the only way to fix a problem in your mental game is to recognize what the problem actually is in the first place. Now, I'm not saying you need this headband to do that, but it does give me real clarity in showing you how this works in your head. A pattern does come through, and it's a lot cleaner than I expected. The better I play, the more delta is present. That's your brain on quiet, autopilot. Now, this ties into something I think you guys have all seen before, is a really good pool movie starring Tom Cruise. You know it, The Last Samurai. Wait, what? That's not the movie you were thinking of? Roll the clip. So in this scene, Tom Cruise is struggling sparring a samurai and is told that he has, quote, too many mind, that he's paying attention to literally everything, and he needs to no mind. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's the graph. My best playing, and yours too, I'm sure, is when our minds are empty. And this is really the first sign of flow state, by the way. Your prefrontal cortex is quieting down, and that's called transient hypofrontality. I talk about it in my pool and flow video.
A lot of our old ideas about ultimate human performance are very, very wrong. The 10% brain myth. This is something you've probably all heard of. It's the idea that at any one point, we're just using a small portion of our brain, say 10%. So ultimate performance, AKA flow, must be the full brain on overdrive, right? Turns out we actually had it exactly backwards. In flow, we're not using more of the brain, we're actually using less of the brain.
But all this begs two questions. One, how do I get there? And two, how do I stay there? Let me answer the second one first, actually, because this moment right here is when the reality of pool sets in. And at the same time, one of the biggest mysteries in this whole experiment that I've done happens. To understand how to continually perform well, you first have to understand what throws you off, because that no mind state, it's fragile. And I caught the exact moment that fragility shows up on camera. Check it out. So this session, I'm actually playing really well. I am clearly relaxed, feeling good. And then I get to this transition from the 6 to the 7 ball, right? I would like to get straight on the 7 ball, but it is not guaranteed that I can get there without either being hooked or jacked up over the 8. So there's this inner voice going, this one matters, don't blow it, right? And then of course, you see those graphs start to cross. But check this out, it actually takes a whole other rack for my thinking mind to start finally turning back down and relaxing to let go. In other words, your state of mind isn't just fragile, it's actually hard to get back on track. Now look, this is necessary, right? There's no way around not having to think through this one, but I let myself scream it in my mind. I pull it off, I still run out, but look at that graph. That whole thing flips. Delta drops and gamma climbs. I'm not floating through it anymore, I'm muscling through it. And I would argue that this would be a whole lot easier if I had a way of regulating my shot process through all of this without the volume getting cranked all the way up. So that's the pattern on a large scale across a whole run out. But what does it look like when it's on a small scale? So this is when I actually took a hard look at some of my misses. Now at the top of this video, I showed you a red line dipping right before a miss. Now I get to explain what that is. So I went back through my misses shot by shot, and one thing kept jumping out at me. Watch what happens when I get on this 2 ball. It's not a tough shot, but it's like my conscious mind woke up and said, hey, position on this next ball is important, don't screw it up. So again, delta floors and gamma spikes. Too many mind, right? Now that is to be expected, but what genuinely freaks me out a little bit is this. Watch the graph before I shoot. It's all about the timing. Just before I pull the trigger, the delta is already dropping. Gamma is already climbing while I'm down on the cue ball, before tip contact, before the outcome of the shot even exists. Let me remind you that this graph here and the video are synced perfectly to the frame. And there are too many times where the graph predicted the outcome of the shot for it to be a coincidence, in my opinion. My brain just knew I was gonna miss before I missed. Now, look, I'll be honest about what this is and what this isn't. This is a guy with a headband and a bunch of recordings. It is not a clinical study. I'm not gonna pretend like I've proven anything here. I do wanna test this a lot more, but you guys, it lines up with something every pool player has felt before. He shot it the way he saw it. When you stand over a shot already telling yourself a bad story, yeah, your brain has the magical ability to make what you envisioned actually happen. And if that is real, then the most important moment in your pool game, it's not the stroke, it's not your fundamentals, and it's not your aim. It is the moment before you deliver the cue. What story are you telling yourself during go time? So that's the answer to the how do I stay there. You have to protect that window, quiet in your mind before you pull the trigger. Now, this brings me back to the other question. How do you even get there? How do I have a quieter mind on purpose? And I get it. This is probably where you're thinking, stop yapping, Nate. It's action time. Give me something I can use here. Fair. Okay, here it is. When you get nervous or anxious, what happens to your breath? It shortens up. But guess what? That is a two-way street. If your brain can change your breath can change your brain. You can work it backwards. And there's plenty of science to back this up. That's why almost every mental course gives you some kind of breathing technique. You are resetting your parasympathetic nervous system, lifting those delta levels and dropping into relaxation. And yes, you are still gonna have those grindy, process-heavy racks, but learning to settle yourself and quiet your mind through that is essentially an instant Fargo rate booster. Let me say it again. Learning to shut down your negative self-talk keeps you performing above your skill floor. Now look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend this is a game changer, right? Breath work and meditation have been typical fixes many coaches lean on, and I'm sure you have heard it. But for me, watching it play out in real time, after a couple minutes of just a breathing exercise, measuring that graph, seeing the calm delta frequency, staying up there and holding during a grindy rack, that is what made it land for me. It's less woo-woo, more concrete. So too many players that don't believe in breathing techniques or meditation because they don't think that it's a legitimate part of the game, right? Pool is pool. Shut up, dude. And then they wonder why they miss or why they can't stop the negative self-talk. So you want something actionable? Fine. I'm going to give you 5 ways to help you keep calm and play better when it matters, keeping that relaxation level up. Number 1 is box breathing. 4 in, hold for 4, 4 out, hold for 4, rinse, repeat. It's a classic for a reason. It nudges you out of that fight or flight into a calmer parasympathetic state. You guys, this is a great go-to while you're sitting in the chair waiting for the other guy to give you a shot. Number 2, and this is somewhat related to the first point, you got to use your downtime. Whether that means you're in between matches or on a break or sitting in your chair watching your opponent run out, a lot of us spend that time moaning and stewing, replaying that last rack. But the best athletes in the world treat that as a window to reset. In tennis, those 20 seconds between points, the ball bouncing, the towel wiping, that's a trained routine to let go and lock back in. There's real research behind this. So that downtime is not dead time. Find something that works for you to settle in. Ignore the other guy and run a little focus work. Pair it with breathing, whatever you like. Just as long as when you're back at the table, you are fully locked in the now. Full disclosure here, the next couple tips are related to affiliates of the channel, but they are legitimate ways for you to improve your game, especially related to this topic. I get comments and messages from my viewers who actually try these products and go, dude, this is great. This actually helps me with my pool game. Yeah. My integrity is far more important than like some chump change that I make from the affiliate links that I give you guys. It's just, I don't know, it's funny that I get that reaction sometimes. Anyway, number 3 is get a coach. A lot of the mental game stuff I use during a match comes from working with my coach Demetrius via the Slate Billiard Club Patreon. Now, I know I talk about it a lot, but seriously, guys, if you want to handle a mental game, get a real coach to walk you through it. It will go a long way. Now, number 4 is nootropics. Brain drugs, you guys. I do this every time I play pool. I've talked about it before. I like to use Keto Brains. It helps me stay calm and focused. Keto Brains is a coffee creamer. Most players will tell you that drinking coffee before playing pool is probably not a great idea because of those jitters. This blunts the jitters and it leaves you with a calm focus. That's exactly what we're talking about here, guys. Now, again, I'm not sponsored, just something I actually use. If you have another nootropic stack you use, great, do it, as long as you are getting the most out of your brain. And number 5 is training off of the table. This can look like meditation or going to the gym and working out or visualization training. Like literally, like this headband is not just a monitor for me playing pool, all right? It's not designed for that. This comes with the Muse app, right? It's loaded with training programs, focus training, breath work, meditation, sleep training, right? There's a lot of sports science behind this stuff too. Neurofeedback's been shown to improve performance in precision sports like archery and golf and shooting, okay? Sound familiar? You guys, this is the training that I have been leaning on away from the table. And guess what? It's paying off. I feel like I'm playing really good right now because of all this stuff. So here's the real takeaway, okay? Everything we looked at today, the breathing, the data, the brain stuff, it's all service into one thing: learning to have that quiet, relaxed confidence while you are down on the shot. That is mental game. Now, this headband happens to be a way to actually see it and diagnose what's really happening so that we can attack our weaknesses in our confidence. But obviously, that's not the only way you can do it. By the way, if enough of you have one of these, I would love to share my monitoring tool with you. I just got to figure out a way to do that so you guys can have it for yourselves. Just let me know if any of you have one of these, and I will try to do my best to get it to you. I'm going to keep running experiments like this. I want to try to take it to a tournament to see what is happening in my brain while under like stress. Test that pre-shot signal a little bit more. I got some ideas. But if you have any ideas on what you want to see me do with this headband, go ahead and go to the comments. Tell me what you want from me down there. And also, while you're there, do me a favor and comment brain drain, just so I can see who really made it this far. I will give you some love. If something here today has shown you anything you haven't seen in pool yet, like and subscribe, please. It helps me make more of this kind of content. This was a super rough video to make. It took forever. I really appreciate all the support. So till next time, happy shooting.